Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. This is how we do it.
It's your boy.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days.
Hello, everyone. This is Tiffany Jones, and you are watching The District. Today, I have a special guest. This is my little sister, Linda.
Hello.
And we usually talk about community issues on the show, but there is no way that I could pass up this topic with the slap that was heard around the world with Will Smith and Chris Rock. And it's so crazy because I've been working on like having a different background. And as you see, I have fresh prints right here for this one. And I'm working on a different background, but it just works. So we are going to talk about the Will Smith thing today. If you are a person that believes that we should be talking about Clarence Thomas' wife instead and other major issues, then you can just turn this off because I am a multitasker. I go to school, I'm running the campaign, I got this show, I do a lot of different stuff. So we can multitask and talk about this too. So if you have an issue, just don't look. All right. So Linda, let everyone know what happened at the Oscars this year. And normally I don't look at the Oscars. So I was on Facebook on my feed and I just saw that Will slap Chris, and I didn't think it was real. I thought it was a skit until I saw Lupita's face. Now Lupita is a Pisces like me, so we just can't fake the face like that. I'm like, she's a good actress, but she's not that good. So I was just like, really, she wasn't that good to fake that. That look.
She said she wasn't a good actress.
No, she's a great actress. No, she's a great actress. I'm saying that she looked like she didn't know whether to go or stay, like because she didn't know what was going on with him. But Linda, just go ahead.
I mean, everybody knows. Chris Rock came out to present an award. He looked over at Jada and he made a terrible joke about her bald head. She did not take it well. She was not happy about it. Will at first seemed fine. Then he looked at Jada and decided to walk up to the stage. Chris didn't expect anything because he was just like, "Hey, little buddy, what you doing? Why are you coming up on the stage, little buddy?" And then Will slapped him really hard and then walked back to his seat and proceeded to cuss him out, which is when everybody realized it was real because I think Will was smiling the whole time.
Yeah. Before.
So yeah. And then he sat back down, cussed him out, and they had words. And then it was over.
Who do you think was wrong in this situation?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Both were wrong. Because that joke was off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris wasn't prepared to really deliver that joke.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a really worthy joke. It's an old joke. But Will was definitely more wrong because that joke did not warrant physical abuse in any way.
Yeah, I think they were both wrong because, I mean, most people know that Jada, has issues with the alopecia because she has been vocal about it. But my whole thing is when you in Hollywood, you might not be that in tune with things.
Yeah.
Like we are. Like we're in tune more with entertainment, but they're giving us the entertainment. So they might not really be in tune with things. I don't think he knew. I really don't think he knew. But I will say that the joke was poor taste. And like other comedians said, he didn't read the room. Mm-hmm. And he should have read the room to kind of see how it was feeling or whatever. Of course, Will is just wrong. But I don't, for me, and I know some people might get on me about it. I don't really care. I think Jada is the real wrong one in this situation. I'm just saying. I think she's toxic. I've been saying for years that she's toxic. Now, all fairness, I love Red Table Talk because it's gotten me through like some personal issues and stuff. Like, I love the show. But my opinion, for example, if it like, I'm not married or anything, but as Black women, if you don't want your man to fight, you're going to make sure that fight don't happen. You're going to try your best anyway. You're going to try. She had enough time to intervene. And some people said, oh, well, they weren't close together. I'm like, they were not that far apart.
Not at all.
So, and even so, I'm just like, she had a moment to stop him from going on the stage. She could have ran behind him, something. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Let's say maybe she didn't know what he was doing. But when he came back to that seat and he's yelling words and stuff out, cursing, she just sat there like she didn't reach for him or nothing.
Yeah.
And she could have done that and she didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so that's my thing, because I'm like, any other woman, it was just a weird situation. And then, videos out now that she laughed. I'm not surprised she laughed. And she has said herself that she has ego issues. And when that ego comes out, she said that ego is a beast. And that's what happened in this situation. And so I'm just saying this. And now, because I'm just saying, as a wife, I feel like, you know what? And she don't even really consider herself a wife, because she didn't want the traditional marriage and stuff, which they've talked about. They have an open marriage because she wants an open marriage. She never wanted to be married. She didn't want the kids and all that kind of stuff. She went with what her mother wanted her to do, because her mother wanted her to have a different life than she did. Jada didn't want none of this, so he changed his whole standards for her. But anyway, she didn't do what a wife would do, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised because she never wanted to be a wife. But now it's messing with their money because they are postponing Bad Boys 4. Now, and so if for all those that saying, oh, this is a stunt or whatever, no, this is real. Because he's just what? He's not in the academy anymore.
No, he got out. Bad
Boys 4 now is messing with his money and stuff. Like, this is very real. And it's unfortunate that it happened. But of course, Will he did what he did. That was his choice. I understand that. But behind that choice is everything his wife been putting him through. Like, that slap was not for Chris. That slap was for Jada. Yeah. That slap was for everything she's been putting him through over the years by putting their business out there. She put their business out there. He was trying to support her with this Red Table Talk stuff. And then all that stuff happened with August and everything. And then people just saw him as a weak man. So that slap wasn't for Chris. Chris took one for the team.
Yeah, so I have different opinions about this. I personally don't think Jada is toxic by herself. I think they have a toxic marriage because the marriage that they have, by their own definition, is bad. It's not a good marriage. If it's not a good marriage, then
bad marriage for life. That's what they say.
It's unhealthy for both people, but it's a marriage that they're committed to. Now, I think what happened is something in the marriage caused that reaction because there was no thought process. He didn't think about where he was, who he was, or what he was going to do. He just went and did it based on her reaction to a joke. And the other thing that gets me is like, this is your friend. Like, they've known each other for 30 years.
30 years.
I wouldn't slap my friend of 30 years for saying a bad joke. I would talk to them about it. It's like, look, keep my wife's name out your mouth. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I don't have to put my hands on you because I know you. If they knew him, and maybe they're not really friends.
Yeah, maybe they're like associates. Who knows? I mean, yeah.
But if you've known
everyone's
a person that long, and they have never done anything to intentionally harm you or your family, then you know how to address them. You know how to talk to them so that you can keep things cool. You don't have to react the way he did. Why does this matter?
Right.
I've been thinking about it for a long time.
Everyone's like, why people keep talking about it? I'm like, y'all, like,
yeah.
there's so many layers to this though.
So
like-
first, I will say first for me, I'm a Will Smith fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan. I mean, this is our childhood. Our adulthood. His clout is just continuing. You know, he's got Bel Air. He's got all these different.
Oh, he got Bel Air right now.
He's got Bel Air
Because you don't know if certain people start pulling stuff out.
But he's done like, you know, motivational speaking through his social media platforms, encouraging people to take risks and be brave. He's entertained us for practically our entire lives.
Really? Yeah.
So, you know, it's almost like a member of your family did something horribly wrong to yet another member of your family. And because Chris Rock, they're titans in the Black community. Those are two names that are so well known and so beloved in different ways that you would never expect for them to have any kind of falling out whatsoever. And I will say Chris definitely proved his character because he is the wronged party. He has every right to do whatever he wants to do. And he is showing grace and mercy to someone who in some ways may not even deserve it.
Can you imagine if he had hit back? And I think he did kind of ball his fist up.
It would have been so bad.
And I don't blame his brother coming out now to defend him because, you know, I got sisters. And like he said, he don't have anything to lose like his brother does. You know,
he doesn't.
But it don't even matter. Like we would come out for each other too. Like I think Keisha would be what's his no his brother, Chris Rock brother.
Oh,
Tony.
Yeah.
Keisha would be my older sister. She would be Tony or whatever. Like we handle things in our own way, but I don't blame his brother for speaking up for him because Chris cannot say anything right now. And it's probably because lawyers are involved. Yeah. And he just don't, you know.
But also
probably because he's hurt.
But also too, to a degree, he doesn't have to because you have court of public opinion.
Right. It was in front of the world.
And also it was very traumatic and shocking because that's probably the last person he ever thought would hurt him in any way.
Right.
Because Will definitely presents as a very non-threatening person 99.9% of the time. So, and he needs a minute to figure out how to process it. But I will say the reports of him immediately saying, no, do not involve the police is like one of the best things that he could have done because we really don't know what's going on with Will or what happened to him in that moment.
That's why everyone popped up like that. Because they were like, what's going on with him?
I personally believe it was stress. The stress.
You think he was still in character?
God, no.
I don't think he was in character.
I don't think it had anything to do with the character. I think it had everything to do with the stress of being on this circuit, the ego of being in this circuit, this
and being made a fool of for years.
And then having this wife who has repeatedly in different ways said, to a degree, she doesn't respect him as a man. That she respects a Tupac more, or Tupac is someone that kind of lives in this place in her mind and in her heart.
She's still mourning. I think she's still mourning that death.
But he knows that that's not somebody he'll ever live up to.
Yeah, he'll never be him.
But in a moment where, in his mind, she needed protecting, he jumped up to be the man he thought she would want, as opposed to just being the man he naturally is and being accepted and loved in that way. He served to her, which he thought she wanted. Whether or not that's true, that's between them. Who knows? They'll probably share it on the Red Table Talk. It'll be between all of us eventually. But I think he just jumped. He jumped the gun and made a poor decision that was very costly. And who knows how costly, because he does have a lot of people relying on him for their own well-being, not just his family, but his coworkers, employees, staff, whomever. And being a celebrity, your reputation is just as important as your skill. And he has hurt his reputation at the time where his skill is being highly recognized, and that is extremely disappointing.
He fought for years for Oscar, and he finally got his moment. And I'm sorry. That's why I blame Jada too.
No,
just listen. for all y'all out there who I know, like, it's a lot of feminists out there. I know a lot of women are saying, you know, protect Black women. You know what? I'm all for protecting Black women. I'm a Black woman. There's a lot of times when, you know, I feel like I would like protection. But protection does not always have to be physical. And not only that, as women, we have to protect our men too.
Yeah.
You don't want to put him in a position where he is hurting himself. It was words. That was his night. So even if I was offended, I would have tried to play it off, or like we said yesterday, own it.
Yeah.
Because that could have been like another movie for you, G.I. Jane 2. Like, so just own to be like Snap or something. Just own that moment, because she don't look bad bald. She's always been bald. She's always wore short cuts.
Yeah.
So, you know, I understand her feeling the way she felt. But I feel like if you know your husband, you've been with him over almost 30 years.
Yeah.
You know how he might get, especially when he has his own, I think they're both narcissists. But especially when he's always trying to please you, that was his moment.
Yeah.
So I think she just should have
It was a lot of
I'm sorry, she should have, it was a lot of people moment.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just fake laugh it off or whatever. But as far as this Black woman protection thing, I'm absolutely for Black women being protected. We're one of the most vulnerable communities out there. But there's different ways to protect your Black woman. Go behind the scene, tell him, hey, that wasn't cool or whatever.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I don't think it was a slap or whatever was warranted, because of what he said. And the joke was old. It was lame. And Chris needs to get new material.
I just want to say, on the subject of being protected, I had another conversation with a friend of mine, and I think she doesn't come, like, in her background, she never felt that level of protection from a man where he would risk his life.
Oh, I've never had
to
that.
help you.
I've never had that.
I've had people say that to me in my family, and like recently, and
say what?
Like, I would hurt somebody for you, kind of thing.
Yeah, the only man I've known that would do that for us is Dad. That's the only man I've known it for me.
No, he
that's the only man that ever made me feel protected was Daddy.
He definitely had that. Like, he would go off on somebody for one of us. But I've had other people say that to me, where they would endanger themselves.
Men, though, we're talking about men protecting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In the family?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you got it more than me.
No. No, but we all have it.
No one's saying he protected me.
They said it. But the thing about it for me personally is that it scares me, because that means potentially the way I would feel is I caused that for you. Like, I caused you to be hurt. No, that's how I would receive it. That may not be what it is, but that's how I would receive it. But my point is that I would rather you do everything you can do to live for and with me,
right?
Versus die for me. Like, don't do that.
No, and my thing is, like, okay, if you're in a situation where it's physical, right?
Yeah.
Like the thing that I ain't even gonna mention something that happened, but when you're in a situation where it's physical and you need your man to step in, that's when your man needs to step in and have your back. But I'm just saying, with this situation, it was just like,
it wasn't that.
I don't want to put him in a situation where, we lose everything. And it was over worse. And it was over something that I said I was comfortable with. Yeah. A few days before, she said she was comfortable with her bald head. And now, and one more thing I want to say before, I know we cannot tell men how to feel. We cannot tell men how to feel. We can't tell men how to react. I'm just saying, as a woman, what I would do. And I know I would do it because I've always been kind of the fighter in my stuff. So I'm the one like that, would stand up for someone. So it's just like, I know I would do that, so it's not me saying, we got to give space for men to be men. We can't say, oh, he's not going to feel outraged when he see you a certain way. I just think there was more she could have did to prevent it from getting as bad as it did.
Yeah. Well, as far as Chris being aware, I think there's definitely a chance he didn't know anything about it.
Right.
But there's also a chance that he could have known. and I said this yesterday when we were talking,
Mhm.
he could have known and took
He
for
could.
granted how she actually felt about it. Because maybe, she could have been faking the funk, trying to be positive.
Oh, now we know that she's
but
being fake.
really, no, but like she really could have just felt bad. Like publicly, she wanted other people to not be discouraged, but privately, she's having a hard time. And maybe he could have taken it for granted. But I just also want to mention G.I. Jane is one of the best movies.
Yes, like when Demi Moore shaved her head.
It's so good.
I love that part. But you know what, too, I'm going to say? You know how they say fake it till you make it?
Yeah.
That could be something Jada is doing, too. Like that video that she did about embracing her head or her bald head. Maybe it was more of her trying to convince herself that she's good.
Mm-hmm.
But inside, she's really not good, you
Yeah.
know? For her to have that face, not gonna understand if she was hurt and stuff or whatever. I get it, but I don't know. In a way, I'm just like, this is my man's night. And it just be making me think sometimes if she's jealous of his success because she's not having the life that she wants that life. And she didn't have one that was fulfilling like that.
That could be reading too much into it, only because we don't know that jealousy exists between them in that way, professional jealousy. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, they've been pretty open about everything else. I don't know why that's something that they wouldn't address if it did exist.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
It was like she ruins everything.
But I think
I'm
what
sorry.
but
she
I genuinely
ruins
think
everything for him.
But I genuinely no.
She does. Like she ruins everything for him. Like I love
that.
Red Table Talk. We don't know their lives, but they put enough out there for you to dissect, you know.
Yeah.
I read his articles and stuff, but the stuff she's put out about herself to say this, I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm a single parent or whatever. I would love to have a guy that wants a family unit. You know, I would love to have a man that actually thinks about me and gets a beautiful home, you know, and thinks ahead of time and plans your birthday, you know. Not saying he's perfect or whatever, because I don't know, you know, his women's about him too.
No.
So he's not perfect.
Nope.
But the thing is, what she put out there was that she never wanted none of that. She didn't like the house or whatever he bought for her. She hated the birthday party. She didn't like the fact that he was a traditional husband because she didn't want that.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that kind of angers me about her. And I'm just like, he would have been better off with Cherie. You know, I think Cherie was where the love was at. But when he saw Jada, it was like he was infatuated. He just had the baby with Cherie or whatever. And guys get like that sometimes. They get, you know, they get caught up with, I guess, the real stuff, like when reality hits with life. And then I think he got infatuated and, you know, fell for Jada. But obviously
But I do think they do love each other.
No, I think they definitely love each other. They love each other
so long.
I
just think whatever the intricate dynamics are between them, and how they trigger each other, you know, all of that stuff just doesn't really seem to be good or working, because it's the unit. It is the coming together of these two individuals and the values that they have set up for themselves. And in that moment, everything just went out the window. Or everything was revealed, because whatever their value system is, you know, this was the other thing, the domino effect of now your kids are saying, this is how we do it, which means, okay, this is.
They try to have their parents back, though.
No, being supportive is thing, but it's also his behavior as a teacher.
Yeah.
And he owns that. He's, you know, he's a role model. He considers himself one. Well, this is another way where you have role modeled either for some people how to handle something or for other people how not to.
And honestly, though, like, what he did wasn't right, but I really don't blame him like that. I think he's human. But I see everything. This was accumulation of years of stuff. This woman has basically said he was not good in bed. She took romance out of the marriage. That's why they have a life partnership. she slept with her son's friend,
Oh yeah,
who she was so-called mentoring and helping.
yeah, that was
And
messy. Her
my thing
entanglement.
is, no one really talks about how she was a predator with that. And she really was, because he
Yeah.
was very young. He was going through his own thing, and you there to help someone. And then you kind of take advantage of that. Even if it wasn't her intention, it happened.
Yeah.
And that's your son's friend.
Yeah.
And then you sleeping with him in your husband, the house that your husband got you.
Yeah.
You know how disrespectful that is? And then you bring your husband to the table
But
and says it in front of the whole world.
but none of this could happen without Will's consent.
Right.
This is not a one-way marriage. This is two people who have agreed on how they function. And if that function is messy and spills onto other people's lives, she is not solely responsible. He's responsible too. These are two adults who consented to this together. She did not go up there and slap him. He did that himself. He has to own his behavior. It can't just be on her. She reacted however she reacted, because that was her natural reaction and response. He did what he did because of him. He didn't have to act that way. Yeah, you got a lot going on, but everything that's going on, you chose.
Yeah.
And you have to own that. He's got to own it. And I think he's trying to. I mean, removing himself from the academy. Okay. Instead of just, letting them, he left on his own terms.
I think one of the reasons like this is so deep for me, I feel like there's so many different layers to it, like whether it's racial or the emasculation of him, because it's been happening in front of our eyes for years. But the one thing I was thinking about was that academy thing. So the first year we have like a black producer, he was a black producer.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that made Will more comfortable to act the way he act. Like if it was, I'm just saying, I don't know the answer. But I'm just saying, if it was a very popular white producer, would it had changed the mood of everything? Do we have respect for when we have black producers and stuff? Like, does it lessen the respect for things, like when it's us, like I'm just wondering if, like, because it was a black producer and everything was I didn't get to see the whole show, but what I heard, everything was kind of pro-black or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now they made it into the Source Awards or whatever, but I'm just wondering.
They call it the Source Awards?
Now they're calling it the Source Awards because of what happened.
Oh,
because the Source Awards be going down like that.
Oh my God.
Right. So, but I'm wondering though, if because it was a black producer and stuff, did it make him kind of lose a little bit of respect for it and just act the way he act? Like if it was a popular white producer, I'm not sure if it would have went down like that.
I believe that I would consider him in like mental health crisis mode.
No, I definitely.
Where there was no thinking taking place, only actions. And he did what he did in the blink of an eye with no thoughts whatsoever. And I think that is why Chris's sense of grace and mercy is very important in this, and why as a man he rose above and beyond by giving him that, by saying this is not a person who needs to go to jail. This is a person who probably needs help.
Yeah,
and I think other people in the room recognizing that shouldn't be shamed, because maybe that's what they saw was somebody who was completely acting out of character, not necessarily someone who did something that they also would have done. Like, I don't think Denzel Washington reached out to him because, oh man, yeah, if that was my woman
they was checking up on him.
Reached out to him because he saw somebody doing something that was out of character.
He was out of character, and that's what friends do. And step in and be like, what's going on? Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people stepped up to him, because they didn't know,
like what was wrong,
what was going on with him.
Yeah. And I think as far as the show itself and the respect it had, I think up until that point, besides normal, strange Oscar moments, which happens all the time, people were having a good time because it was kind of I think the first show that they had done in person. So people were all very excited and having fun. At least that's what people were reporting. And that moment
changed everything for everyone. Because you could see too, after when he got up and accepted his speech, the network was trying to figure out whether or not to block his speech, which was awkward already.
That was the speech. That speech was horrible.
Already.
I didn't even look at it. I think that was a horrible speech.
I didn't mind it because it explained to me some of his thought process, which he is a heavy burden person.
Yeah, I think sometimes we do things and we don't know why we did it. And I think that speech to me was him trying to give a reason, but I don't think he in the moment really knew.
Yeah.
So when he said, love will make you do crazy things, some people saying it's abuse language, which it is, but in this situation, I don't think that was it. I think he could not find the words to explain why he did what he did. And he just was trying to give some reasoning behind it. But I don't think he really understand like all the thoughts that was going on in his head and what really was making him do that.
Yeah.
And that's something he got to sit down and think about, because that was not about Chris.
Nope.
That really wasn't about Chris.
No.
But I don't blame Will for all the hurt and feelings that he had. And people say, well, I think he should get therapy. Personally, I think everyone should get therapy.
I do too.
But he probably is getting therapy. I don't know his business, but we need to have a serious, when you have Will, Kanye, Jussie, all these Black men with popular Black men showing that they have mental issues. Like, we have to really talk to our Black men and encourage them to get help and to talk to someone about heartbreaks. They feel things too, about abuse, about not being able to find work, whatever they're going through. We have to really push them to get professional help. Yeah. And they're showing us that we need to take it seriously. No, we really need to take this seriously though, because it can hit, if it's hitting them like that. Yeah. Just think about our brothers out here that are really struggling. Like, they need, just think about what they're going through. Like, they need help.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you think they should take his Oscar?
No. He won it. I honestly, after this event, who are they going to give it to?
I don't think they should take it, because then they got to take it away from all the other, those people who did worse stuff.
Yeah. No, I think it was, I brought this up to somebody else, and I don't like spreading rumors or anything, but it was a conversation around the time that he won that Casey Affleck had been accused of rape.
Really?
He had been accused.
Did he get an Oscar?
He did.
When?
The year, I think, was it last year or the year before? I know, it was the last time they had a in-person award show, but you can look it up. It was out there. It was.
I didn't know he acted anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't really look at movies and stuff like that anymore.
So I mean, but it's a thing though. I don't think this is good. I don't think you can say, well, this evil isn't, is better than that evil. I mean, evil's evil and it's bad.
You think he's going to be canceled?
No,
I don't think so either. I think we got short-term memory.
No, yeah.
And it's not like he's been like, I don't think he's a bad person at all.
Everything depends on what the studios want to do, if they want to work with him, if he's bankable,
if he's still marketable.
If he's marketable, that's what it's going to come down to.
He just got to go on thing, damage control.
He has to do damage control, but he was not thinking, because in his speech, he definitely talked about carrying other people kind of on his back in a way. Like, and to a degree, that's true. Like, you kind of help create a show out of nothing, and you've got an entire cast and crew of people that are relying on you and your stability to keep them employed. And then you jeopardize that with your behavior, then potentially it could jeopardize their work. So it's a strange kind of position to be in, and it's a heavy one to be in, but it's not anything he wasn't aware of. But I think after the slap, he started, but he realized, oh my God, I just may have jeopardized not just my own career, but the career of the people that I'm bringing with me.
And that's the thing is like, so many people are riding on his success. Like, and I'm sorry, his wife just couldn't grab him.
Tiffy, stop. No, here's the thing too. Like, I don't know. I've been in a position where I loved someone very much who was in danger of, well, just in danger. And you are sometimes compelled to physically throw yourself in a way of what could harm them.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it where something got pulled out on me.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to protect someone that should be protecting me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into details. But, you know, I've done that because I'm trying to like keep something from happening, you know.
But when he says love makes you do crazy things, it will.
It will. But I feel like he was just trying to find words. I don't think he really understood. And I don't know how he's feeling now, but I don't think he really understood why he did it.
I don't think he did either.
Because that slap was not about that joke. His wife looked at him a certain way.
It was definitely about Jada.
It was definitely about Jada.
It was definitely about her.
And
it wasn't about Chris.
And when you look back, y'all, no. When you look back, when they first got together, they was on interviews. And she said, she grabbed him. She said, don't let him fool y'all. He's not a sweet cupcake. You know, she always had this thing about him that she felt like maybe people were judging him because he's soft.
Yeah.
Or they assume he's soft. Well, guess what? Maybe he is soft, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay if he's not that guy. And if he's not that guy and it's not enough for you, then you can leave him alone and find that hood guy. And I looked up August Alsina video recently, and he's out with his friends in like a trap house or something. I don't know. It's on Instagram, y'all. Look on Instagram. And I was like, this is the kind of dudes that she liked though. And no shame to those to any hood dudes, because we from the hood too, you know, but there's no shame.
No.
But I'm just saying that's what she likes, and that's not Will.
Yeah, I think
but she always tried to make him out to be tough, and it's kind of like it's a inner shame for her. And then she pushing him to be this man that he's not. He saw his father beat his mother his whole life. He don't want to be that man.
No.
It just made him soft in a way, you know, and that's okay.
But I think maybe we have to stop calling that soft.
Yeah, and you're right. No, you're right. But
that's
it's not what she is looking for. She wants a dude that's always, you know, and I heard that Pac wasn't like that.
No.
People say Pac wasn't the way he presented himself.
Which is,
you know, they say he wasn't really like that, but he's not Pac. I think she still is mourning over him, because when your daughter is writing a letter to a dead man wishing that he was still alive to make her happy and her mother happy, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that means you haven't gotten over some stuff.
And but that's where I still say it's when they said it's a bad marriage, they're right.
Yeah, they said bad marriage for life.
Because both of them agree to it. He
will not
that he can't reach.
He said he will not get another divorce because the first one hurt him too bad. And what I didn't know was he didn't leave Cherie. Is her name Cherie?
I think so. It's spelled like that.
Yeah, I think it's Cherie, whatever. But I think it's Cherie. I like her. But he didn't leave her. She left him. And honestly, he probably pushed her to it because he wanted Jada for real. So he probably really pushed her to leave or whatever, you know, just did little things to push her away. But he said he would never get another divorce.
Yeah.
But they say bad marriage for life. And I'm just like, you know what? Some people say it's relationship goals for them, like what he did. They want a man to do that, like Tiffany Haddish felt like, oh, it's so beautiful. I don't want that. I don't want a man that's going to risk everything in that way, you know, like I don't, you know what? I believe they got real love. I believe it's real love, but that's not the kind of marriage I would want.
It's one thing to there, like you said, there's layers to things. Because I think there are women, Black women specifically out there who have never felt a sense of being protected.
No, I haven't.
Ever. No, you said
I had only dad. Dad, yes.
But some women
But
haven't had that.
But I'm
either.
thinking, and you're right. I'm thinking romantically though, as far as relationships, I've never had a guy that made me feel protected in a relationship.
Okay.
Never. And I don't care if they watch because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt like I had to be that protector for me.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you tell them what you've gone through that make you feel vulnerable or make you feel like you need protection, it doesn't matter for some of them, Yeah. But I do get that, like Tiffany has, you know her story, so I can understand why to her. You know.
But it's also, you have to weigh, what does it mean to be protected? Like, what is, you have to apples for apples, equal measure of things. Like in that moment, was he defending Jada? Yeah. But was that an equal response to what actually happened? No. You have someone delivering a joke, not about a condition, about a look.
But was he really defending Jada?
In his
was
mind,
it really protection?
No, I think in his mind, he was defending her.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think he was defending his ego. I don't think he was defending her. I think it was about his ego. I think it was about he saw his wife's face. It was a disappointment face, but it was also, what is people in the room going to think? Like, am I supposed to be? Because he was laughing at first.
He was.
Am I supposed to be offended? And when he saw her face, I think it was more about his ego. I think that's what he was defending.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't think it was about her.
But she was the trigger.
Yeah, no, definitely a trigger.
She was a trigger.
Yeah.
But that's why I think in his mind, he did what he had to do to defend her, to her liking, her standards. It was about her and it was about him. I think it was ego and her.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think it was. But I think you have to, when you want protection, it's one thing when there's a threat coming from the outside into your space that is a physical threat. He wasn't responding to a physical threat. He got physical over a verbal kind of non-threat.
Yeah, and you know what?
He didn't threaten her.
And it really depends on,
as my opinion.
Yeah, because we don't know what's going on outside of it. It's just what we're reading from that incident. But it depends on where you are mentally. You might have taken that joke as a compliment.
Now, can we talk about how I think it was a compliment?
Yeah, because you hit on it a little bit.
I think it's a G.I. Jane went through a lot. I mean, you watch that movie. This is a single woman who has to infiltrate the military and be as good as what we say, be as good as a man. What they would say at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, she shaved her head. All the other guys had to shave their head. She had to make herself as united and one with them as possible. And at the end of the movie, she has to fight Viggo Mortensen, who is physically absurd and evil throughout the entire thing, just making rape jokes. I mean, he was a horrible person.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh my God, yeah. He was an evil person, and she killed it. She tore it up. Demi Moore couldn't have been better in that film. So yeah, personally, if I was a bald person, which I feel like I'm getting very close to every day.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, I got alopecia too. I'm not
a lot of people.
A lot of us got alopecia. Like, that's why I wear my hair in certain ways, and you know this. Like, I wear my hair in certain ways because I have alopecia too. I got I always tell people, so it's not a secret, polycystic ovarian disease, and it caused hair loss. So I definitely understand that pain. But when it comes to the G.I. Jane thing, I'm not a big Jada acting fan. I like her in Girl Trip, and that's probably the only movie I like her in. But I know she could pull off that role. Mm-hmm. G.I. Jane 2. I think that would be a great role for her, a good comeback or whatever, like something really big. So she could have embraced that moment to kind of
be like,
change the whole, or
at least keep the atmosphere what it was, which was
a positive, upbeat kind of thing.
Yeah, upbeat. She could have made it better, and it would have been a completely different story for the night. Like Jada Pinkett owns.
But then too, like they said, Rock been going after them for years. And
Yeah.
we don't know their relationship for real.
But
They've
this
known
is
each
the
other
other
for
thing.
30 years, but
this is the other thing too.
I don't know.
We have it's context is everything, but also read a person's intentions. Yeah, Rock should have read the room, but somebody should have read Rock because he was not intentionally trying to be hurtful.
That is such a good point, Linda.
Yeah.
And you saw that video. I know y'all saw it. If you're on Facebook, there's a video of him slow motion, like when what is the name that got the
Questlove.
Questlove got his award, and they was passing Chris the award, and he looked so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, I want to give him a hug. And I'm not a big Chris Rock fan. I'm not at all. I just think it's a really messed up situation for both of them.
Yeah.
But that slow motion thing, how he looked, it was like sadness in him. And then Questlove gave Will a hug.
Yeah.
And then took the award from Chris. And Chris was looking like, what is going on here? You know?
Yeah.
But when we talked about it, now that I think about it, Questlove probably did that because in that moment he know Will was going through something.
Mm-hmm.
So just gave him some love or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So
just having mercy probably on a friend.
But like you said, no one really read Chris. And I don't think it was his intention.
Before he made that joke, the first words out of his mouth were,
I love you.
I love you.
Jada, I love you.
So he's already letting you know what his intentions are. His intentions are he's coming from a place of love. It's a cheap joke, but this is from love. And we in our family, we make fun of each other on a regular basis.
And
over things that sometimes
and family fight. Family fight, but guess what? We don't want to do it in a whole bunch of white people. I'm sorry. We do not want to be fighting in front of a whole bunch of white people.
Somebody said that. Why do we have to do this in front of
and guess what? And it's the white people, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, but I'm just an honest person. But with Will, we all know to get places, and it's just true, I guess, is a code, I don't know. But Black people sometimes, most of the time, have to be non-threatening and non-intimidating in order to climb the ladder for things. Mm-hmm. And he is one of our Black figures that don't intimidate white people. But in that moment, those white people didn't know what to do.
Nobody knew what to do.
Everybody was just like, is this for real? And they said, when Quest was getting his stuff, people were actually on Twitter, like celebrities.
Yeah.
And even the producer asked Chris, was that a skit? I'm like, you're the producer.
Yeah.
And he was asking Chris, it was so out there. He was like, was that a skit? And Chris like, no, he hit me for real.
Yeah, because Chris had gone off script. They said the joke wasn't anything that he had practiced or turned in, so they didn't even know he was going to say it.
But like what you called him said today, the other comedians, maybe he switched it. Maybe the first joke was worse. And he switched it for this one because he said, oh, that was a light one. Like, okay, he could have went off script, but maybe they had something written that was worse. We don't know.
Yeah.
And he thought G.I. Jane is an old whack joke. But if you're young, you won't know it. Yeah. But we know, it is an old joke. Like whenever you see like bald white women, you might call them G.I. Jane. You know?
I would call them G.I. Jane before I call them by their name.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's not mean to be like, a
it's
bad
just a
thing.
Quick reference.
Yeah, it's just a reference thing.
Quick reference.
And
but it's not, I would never use it as an insult. And I don't, honestly, I don't think he was coming necessarily from that. It's a joke, but I don't think he didn't intend to hurt. Hurt was not his intention. Mm-hmm. I think he was coming from a place of love, like a slap on the wrist kind of thing.
And everyone's really upset because
really small.
And we're not going to go on too long, but he was on David Spade podcast and Dana Carvey. Is it Dana Carvey? Mm-hmm. They got a podcast, and some time ago he was on there. And they were talking about how they all got bullied before. Mm-hmm. And Chris used to get bullied growing up. I hate bullies. I don't like bullies. And Chris used to get bullied. And when you see him on that stage with his arms behind his back, and it's like two kids in the playground. Yeah. And it's like he knew what was coming and he was ready for it. Maybe like he was getting prepared because maybe he didn't know what was coming.
I don't think he knew what was coming.
I think he didn't know what was coming.
No, I really don't think he knew what was coming because why would someone you have never hurt, physically hurt,
And that hurts.
Who you would sooner call friend than enemy.
Yes.
Would attack you.
That's a deep pain when there's someone you love that you never really like done wrong, like nothing seriously wrong.
No.
And they come out and do something like that to you.
Yeah.
That's a deep pain. And it showed on his face though. And I'm like, he's a comedian.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like they go, yeah, but the comedians, like, because now it's at the point though, honestly, we are sensitive now.
We've lost our sense of
sense of humor. Like
degree.
even with this, if someone watch it, someone might find a way to judge me, you know?
Oh, they're
instead of having a sense of humor about stuff.
Mhm.
As every little thing people pick on, but now it's at the point where comedians cannot make you laugh. They cannot be comedians because everything got to be politically correct or whatever.
It's so funny you say that because Bill Maher came out and made a joke about Jada Ray recently.
Oh, I didn't see, but I saw he made a comment about
care.
this. Yeah. Yeah, and they were just like, they mentioned some comedians that really would have went in. There was one I watched yesterday who he thought of jokes to say about them on the fly, and they were really bad. And that's why Chris was like, this is a light one. Like what? You know? Yeah. But it's bad for the comedians.
It's bad for them. They want to feel safe too.
And they should be safe.
They want to feel safe.
No one should go through
and
that.
honestly, obviously anything that's like, we're not saying that, we should be joking about the Holocaust or anything like that.
No.
Poor taste is poor taste, and
that's what like what's her name? Lou, the woman comedian, Luann or something. I think her name is Luann, because she was saying comedians, they shouldn't post about they shouldn't make jokes about serious diseases and things like that,
Yeah.
But in this situation, like Chris didn't know. He just thought this woman always kept her hair short. He just thought she had just shaved her head off. And and people can say what they want to say about his history of jokes and Black women. I'm not a fan of his. I just think in this moment,
I respect him though.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got some respect for him, but in this moment, that slap was not for him. He took one for the team. So that's my issue. Is like, even if I don't like him like that, don't mean he deserved that. Because everyone wants to be safe.
Yeah.
When you go out and you do things, no one should be able to come on stage and be slapping you.
Yeah.
And there's a such thing as freedom of speech. Yeah. But also they say like there's consequences, but
there's consequences there. But I just don't think this was equal measure for what happened. Like it's one thing if somebody threatens to hit you and you throw the first punch. It's another thing for someone to say you're ugly and then you shoot them.
Right.
That's different.
That's a big jump.
That's a jump.
Yeah.
That's a jump.
But did we miss any points with it?
I don't know.
I said, Jada toxic.
They should repeat that.
They should make a book called The Emasculation of Will Smith, because it's been happening over the years. And I think that's why they always say, don't say too much about yourself, because you do give people the right to
that's the other
critique
thing.
You and say things about you.
Their right to privacy.
Yeah, their right to privacy.
Do they have a right to privacy on this or anything because they've shared so much?
I think when you on their level and you've put out so much that they have, what do you want people to do? Mm-hmm. You're inviting people into your life, into your world. So it's like, I definitely think celebrities have a right to privacy, but when you put so much out there, like if you write a tell-all book, you cannot expect people to not have a conversation or thoughts about your life. Mm-hmm. They are celebrities. They know what, happens with all of this,
Yeah.
So don't add details in like I'm doing this, but I'm not saying things that I don't mind someone questioning me about,
Yeah.
If it's something I really don't want someone to know, then I won't put it out there.
100%. Yes.
So whatever I put out there is something that someone walk out, hey, dude, what happened with the dude not doing this or that? Like, okay, I can give you the details for that.
Yeah.
But keep your real private stuff to yourself. But as far as his abuse stuff, I think it's good for him to put it out there because it helps other people that's gone through it. People need to hear stories that they can relate to.
No, yeah.
But when you talking about that your man is bad and big and you slept with your friend, like all that stuff is too much.
Yeah.
And she has said this.
She did.
So none of this stuff, like people be like, how you know so much? Y'all look at Red Table Talk.
She had an entanglement.
Yeah. But not only that, she talks about her sex addiction.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't know she was a sex addict.
Not only that, drugs.
She's a drug addict too.
She was on drugs. Like she took some ecstasy, almost lost her job on Nutty Professor. Because she had took some ecstasy and went wrong. So all this stuff she put out there. So what you expect people to do?
Well, I think that's the other question people had was whether or not Will was on drugs.
I thought so too. I thought someone said they might have had, because she said herself, when she was on Nutty Professor doing the movie, she had got a bad batch of ecstasy. So what if they got a bad batch or something,
Yeah.
I was about to make a joke, but I had to stop myself. But
You'll tell me when this is over.
Yeah, I'll tell you when it's over. But I thought so too, was that because it switched like that.
It was so fast.
But I think it was an ego thing. I don't know if it was drugs.
Yeah.
Only they know. Only they know.
I would say at the end of the day, we had 3 losers. Chris for
He's a semi-loser because his ticket sales sold out.
I just mean in the moment. In the moment, they all lost. He made a joke off the cuff that wasn't good. Will obviously ruined what should have been a momentous occasion for him and
His first
Venus,
Oscar.
Serena, and the entire Williams family.
Oh,
because-
you saw Serena's face.
No, I didn't see him.
Ooh, she did a video. She was so shocked.
Yeah.
She couldn't believe it. And then he called their father crazy
Yeah.
on stage.
Well, I mean, you have to watch it though, because he was.
Hmm?
You have to watch it. He was.
The movie, he was crazy.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
but you
it's,
don't want to say that.
if it's an
though.
accurate representation of who their father is, there are points of that
He's
film.
crazier than Joe Jackson.
Joe was different. That's like trying to compare Ike to Joe or something. You can't. They're just different. It's like different levels, different types
Oh, okay.
of
I
intensity.
haven't seen the movie.
Richard had a passion for his daughters, but he also had a passion for his right to lead them.
Right.
But it would make
I remember when they
him-
started.
It would make him do things that weren't necessarily in their best interest, but were in his best interest in his own sight.
Did he come off as abusive to his family? Did he come off as abusive, or he was just like, would he had done that because the real him spoke out
No.
and he said we don't condone violence,
no,
only if
because
it's
in the film,
self-defense.
you see him actually kind of take a beating.
Mhm. Oh, don't give no details out though, because it might spoil it for some
Oh,
people.
spoiler alert. But it's good. It was
Because
good.
I haven't seen it.
I thought
I
it
didn't
was
plan
good.
on seeing it because I don't really go. No offense to Will, but I don't really go to see Will Smith movies.
Oh,
If it's not Bad Boys, I'm probably not going to look at it.
wow, okay.
Or I did like Aladdin though, because
I did.
oh my God, Aladdin was good. I was surprised at how good he did in that.
I didn't like that.
And I do like Will Smith though. I love Will Smith.
But see King Richard, if you have a chance.
So it was good though.
I loved it. I thought it was great. And those 2 beautiful girls in the movie.
Better than Ali. Which one should he have got an Oscar for, Ali or King Richard?
Oh man.
Because there
like-
was like so
honestly,
many movies he
no,
could have got
honestly,
an Oscar for.
If I had to really choose him getting an Oscar for a film he was in, it would be Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, that was okay. I would have gave him an Oscar for Aladdin.
No, there's like a moment where he's in a bathroom crying
Oh,
because
yeah, I
he don't know
remember
how
that.
he's gonna make it.
Oh,
And
and that
that's-
money one. Remember, like he gave his last bit of money to
See
his
that
boss.
just that was designed to make you cry. That's different.
No, but that was real though.
Yeah.
That's real. I've been in that situation. Like, that's
Pursuit
real.
of
Not with
Happiness,
no
I
boss,
thought he
nothing.
should have gotten an award for because I thought he was that good. Ali is just hilarious to me because Ali is a character and a half, but it was good too.
No, I'm just saying, my point is he's played in so many roles where he could have got an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
And
I do think this one was deserved. I think
right.
it was deserved
Definitely.
because it was surprising coming from him.
Yeah. I gotta see it now. Now you make me want to see it.
You watch it.
Yeah, because I don't go out to see Will Smith stuff.
I think Anjanou, who played his wife, was done wrong because
no spoilers.
No, when you think about what a Black woman is,
mm-hmm.
her strength, her beauty, her love, she was all of that.
Mm-hmm.
She is such a good representation of Black women to me that her not yet being recognized, in on that level of
she didn't get any nomination.
No, I don't think so.
Is she a new actress?
No, she's been around for
years.
What's
she playing?
Did you see the Clark sisters movie?
I didn't see all of it.
She played their mother.
Oh yes. You know what? I did see all of the Clark sisters.
Yeah,
they have been talking about this woman because they say she's so good, but she don't get props.
She doesn't get props. Her day is coming because she's phenomenal.
Yeah, everyone, and she was good in the Clark sisters too.
She was amazing.
Yeah, that was a good movie too, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Clark sisters, that was good too.
Yeah,
but
I don't think she was nominated, but
no, I didn't. I don't know if she was nominated for an award for that. For Clark sisters, I don't know. For they were, didn't they get some awards? The Clark sisters, the movie,
maybe BET awards.
Yeah, I mean, of course not no Oscar or nothing, but they probably got something though.
Yeah.
So did we hit on all the notes that we had?
I think so.
I said, yeah, Jane.
Tune into their Red Table Talk when they talk about it.
I hope though that they.
If this was like an April Fool's joke, that'd be hilarious.
No. Listen, when I saw that news thing today that said
it happened before April 1st.
When they said that Bad Boys 4 was being postponed, I said, oh. And then people get me though, because I'm like, they said, oh, well, maybe they said maybe sorry, my daughter is over there making noises. So they was like, oh, maybe he did all this because they want Chris ticket sales so he can sell tickets for his comedy show. I'm like, really? Think about it. You really think he's willing to take this big L so Chris can sell tickets?
That's true.
It has some logic with some stuff because that's not logical. So you mean he got pulled out? He got put out of the Oscars.
Yeah.
He resigned from the Oscars, postponing Bad Boys 4. Yeah. Losing respect. None of the celebrities are in on it because no one knew what was happening. And you still think that he did this for Chris? That doesn't make sense.
That's not a valid conspiracy.
Yeah, theory. It's like it's not. Sometimes people need to be logical. Like that is not even logical. Like why would anyone take a L like that so someone can sell tickets for a comedy show?
It's too big.
Like it's too big of a loss.
Yeah.
And not only that, you losing money for your family, you possibly messing up your legacy.
Yeah.
So someone can sell comedy show tickets? That doesn't make sense.
No. But also too, like Chris was emasculated on stage.
Yes, but
that's huge.
That's what I was saying though. Like my whole thought was Will feels emasculated, but then you go on stage and make another man feel the way you feel.
That's why I said it's a toxic marriage.
Yes.
And this is the fruit.
You make another Black man feel the way you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Embarrassed in front of the whole world.
Yeah.
Because you are embarrassed in front of the whole world.
Yeah. It's a lot.
And that's why I'm like, this is why people keep talking about it, because there's different layers to it. It's different things, different components to this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the slap is deeper than the surface of it. It was a slap, but there's a lot behind that slap. Yeah. And I think it's certain things in the Black community that we need to be talking about, having certain conversations.
Yeah.
And what we like to do most of the time is put stuff under the rug and not really approach it.
Yeah.
Why in the world did I'm just saying he felt comfortable to do this during a Black production. Just saying.
I just don't, and I think there are moments.
I don't think it would have been the same thing if it was a white production. I don't.
I just don't know that it factored. Like,
I think it
Well,
did.
you know, when they said non-MF factor, I think who was producing it, you know.
And they said they picked this producer for Will because they knew this was in the bag for him. That this producer was picked for Will because this was going to be his night. Everyone knew Will was getting this award. It was in the bag for him.
He kept winning everything.
He was winning. They knew he was going to get this award.
Yeah.
So they just made a special night for him. And then his wife found a way to ruin it like she ruins everything.
Tiffany,
else.
stop! No,
I can say
not.
I'm bashing the black woman. I'm really not.
I don't
like if you
believe-
look at this woman's story and how she do this man.
I don't.
She
believe
emasculates
in blaming
this
Jada
man.
for what Will decided to do. Will made a decision. Will made a choice.
He did. He made a choice, but
Maybe he was under the influence of his wife's reaction. However, she is not responsible for his behavior. He stood up. He walked forward. He threw a slap.
and
That's
she
on him.
sure. And guess what she did?
A whole bunch of nothing.
She just said
She did a whole bunch of nothing. But you know what? She's allowed to do nothing as an individual.
No, but that's the thing. Because when you marry, it shouldn't be like that.
Tiffany,
Together.
But that's why I'm saying it's a bad marriage.
Together.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bad marriage.
But you know, Denzel said this. But he said, when you at the top, the devil comes for you. And the devil was sitting next to Will the whole night. And it's called Jada Pinkett Smith.
no, I don't agree with this. I shouldn't laugh at this. And I won't.
Jada Pinkett Smith was the devil, and he went home with her, posted pictures with her, talking about they chose chaos.
They did. They chose chaos.
That's just I would not. How you gonna let your man mess up your money, mess up your legacy?
because, like you said, it's a combination. There's ego there.
And
So where it doesn't, where you can get away with it. You can get away with it. Just like Chris thought he could get away with that joke. It's true. He thought he could get away with it. And then he didn't.
Poor Chris, who everybody hates Chris.
Everybody hates. He probably went home thinking that. Everybody really did hate Chris. But they don't.
It wasn't
They
even
don't.
a bad. I don't hate you, Chris.
No.
I don't think he's like hilarious. He's definitely not my favorite comedian, nothing. And I think he do, you know.
But I do
he's definitely not my favorite. But
I think he's very smart. Very, very smart. And I think this showed so much
And
about
very-
his character.
and he's a
And I love
man.
it. I'm
He
here
is
for
a
it.
man. He's a
He's
secure
a
man.
grown-up.
And he grew up with brothers, as Tony Rock said today. He said, y'all better look out for he said, there's 10 of us.
Yeah.
And he grew up with brothers, which might have helped him with his response. Because if you grow up with 10 brothers, you don't took a hit, several.
More than once.
Yeah, because we sisters and we don't took hits.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so he know how to take a hit or whatever, but it was no excuse for what happened. Like I do feel bad for him. In the beginning, I didn't know how to process it. But as I saw the videos and stuff, and then just had a minute to think, it was just like, yeah, this was wrong. It's not about protection.
Originally I didn't believe it. I thought it was a joke.
Oh yeah, we all thought it was a joke.
And then when
I told y'all,
you called.
because you looked, I think you looked
I
it
didn't
up.
see. We only caught the last half hour of the Oscars, so I didn't see.
I called my
slap.
mother so fast. I'm like, you see what happened?
I didn't see it, and so when you told me, I didn't believe it because I just thought, why would that ever happen? That doesn't make sense.
And this guy said, and you know what? Like, and I think we talking about this too because we haven't had a lot of big stuff happen in pop culture, like as of recent, like not big stuff.
Nothing like this.
Yeah, and so not stuff like this.
If it did, it's not in the pop culture where we're paying attention.
But like someone said, he was just like, we gonna be talking about this for generations.
Yeah,
Seriously,
it's a reverb.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and the domino effects of everything. That's the other thing is what is going to be the ultimate fallout.
and now,
because the chips are still landing.
But I do think that he probably should maybe sue, because now they got so many videos of it up. Like, my daughter likes Gotcha Life and stuff, and they have videos with Gotcha Life, Minecraft versions of this slap.
Yeah.
And it's like, people didn't like what Jim Carrey said. I think certain thoughts people need to keep, to themselves, but Jim Carrey did have a point with some things. Like maybe Chris should get definitely whatever he wants to do is fine.
That's
because
what
it's
he
up
should
to
do.
him, whatever he wants to do.
He's got to be able to.
But if this thing is replaying like that, he got to get compensated. I'm sorry.
Well, because I think we have those conversations all the time too about what happens to white men when they're out of pocket versus what happens to black men when they're out
Right.
of pocket.
Right.
And we're very quick to throw black men behind bars,
Right.
not as quick to throw white men. And so that's why I think the grace that Chris is giving Will is so important, because he's saying this isn't necessarily a person that needs to be punished, by police,
Mhm.
but obviously there has to be some kind of reprimand,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily have to involve him going to jail.
And people don't embrace mediation. Like some things can be mediated. It don't mean someone has to go to jail. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you know someone for 30 years and this happened,
Yeah.
and it was physical,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that he needs to go to jail. It's
Yeah.
kind of like if Will really is kind of a brother to him, if my sister hit me, depends on how bad she hits me. I ain't gonna send her to jail, but someone gonna have to intervene, and we're gonna have to have a mediation thing,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how bad it is. But for something like that, if that person up there, like if we really cool and I feel like you just being out of character, you probably have to give me some money, but I ain't gonna seek no jail
honestly,
time.
I think he very well could compensate Chris.
Yeah.
Just like as a good faith compensation for even just as a thank you.
Because the way things
like A, thank you for not hitting me back. B, thank you for not pressing charges. Like just send him a thank you, because his behavior has actually saved you.
Oh, it could have been so bad.
It could have been
and
worse.
It was anybody else.
It could have been way worse.
But he wouldn't did that with anybody else. I think he know Chris is not a fighter. Chris said himself he's not a fighter.
Yeah.
He would not did that to his memes going around with The Rock. You think he would have stepped up to The Rock? No, he would have laughed his butt off and just laughed at Jada too.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't happen.
Mm-mm.
And Jada would have laughed.
You think? Coming from
Yeah, that's The Rock. I would
That's
laugh.
true.
I would like, yeah, come rub this bald head.
Make a wish.
Make a wish. Shoot, The Rock say a joke like that, I take it as a compliment. He noticed me. He noticed me. I feel seen. But he wouldn't did that with anybody else.
No, and that's why it's like in a lot of ways
It's like bullying though. I hate bullies.
Yeah, but I do in a lot of ways think it's a family issue, because it's that 30 years is too long.
That's a long time. We
to
were
not be able to figure it out, but at the same time, wrong is wrong, and it has to be acknowledged as wrong.
Yeah,
and it has to be reprimanded for what it is.
Yeah, and I think maybe if he's like banned next year.
No, he's out of the academy. He's out.
Yeah, but he can still show up as a guest.
Probably won't be invited.
That's what I'm saying, like next year. But if he's banned though, that don't mean he still can't be nominated for stuff, right?
I think so. I think he can't even be in consideration.
Really?
I don't see why he would be. He's not a part of it.
We have to look at I don't know how it works.
I don't know what it means.
But I know Judge Joe Brown, he spoke on it. He said he's actually a voter. He gets to vote on who wins and stuff.
Okay.
And he just thought it was horrible what happened.
Yeah.
As y'all can see, like, sometimes you gotta take a break from all the like politics and everything,
Like
and just to have a little bit of fun with things. I'm a multitasker, but sometimes to like take my mind off of the real serious stuff I got going on, I gotta focus on other people's trauma, like with this. And it's like I hate
deep.
Yeah, like I hate to laugh at their trauma, but it was just so wild.
It was wild because these are people we grew up with.
Yeah, and we
you would never expect this from.
Who in the world who would expect Will Smith to be slapping something, and then you open hand and do it? And guys are like, that's a no. See, I didn't know that was man code. I didn't know that was man code, but it is. They said that's super disrespectful.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
And then how he moved his feet with it. He went in.
Yeah. because he was standing. Somebody broke down the way Will Smith was standing.
Yeah, I saw that.
And how I think
It was like-
what you showed me.
Yeah, it was like wow.
That was not a good song.
He went wow West with it.
It was really bad.
That was really bad.
Everybody needed a hug and a timeout. That's what they needed. Jada needs a hug to get over her alopecia and feeling serious though. Just to be
Jada,
like, because I know there are women who attach their femininity and their beauty to their hair.
I do. I mean, I love my wigs.
But
and
so,
hair
but
and
there,
it's
when
true.
you lose something,
it's
you're
horrifying.
I
it's
don't
horrifying.
feel like a woman.
Right? It's horrifying.
And that is a hard thing to adjust
Because
to.
it's part of our identity in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
But what I learned from this, I love Red Table Talk and all this. I thought she was being so real, and she's not. She's fake. I'm sorry, she's fake. And
I prefer
faking-
to say she's in search of truth.
she's faking like she has this peace that's not there,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're not, we do have to be careful of the stuff that we put out there. So, but it's just like,
Yeah.
don't say that you're okay with your bald head because you're really trying to convince yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like, you know what, I ain't really feeling this bald head, y'all, but this is what I got.
And that is a valid thing to be able to say.
Like, it's okay.
This is
Some
a
people think
side-
it makes them weak, but it's like, no.
No, this is a side note. That is not, it's kind of related, but not just in terms of faking it until you make it, but also having a moment where you can acknowledge some truths. Like she should feel okay to say, I don't like my bald head. She should feel okay to say that and not feel any pressure to be more positive about it, because if that's how you really feel it. It's a valid feeling. And a lot of other people could relate to that. So I was watching a YouTube video where this woman was talking about, she's a body positive woman. She's very plus size, very curvy. But she does a lot of, what do you call it? She's an influencer. She tries on clothes so people can see what they look like on different body types. But she did a recent post where she talked about the way she feels hindered by her body. And that's not a conversation that you do hear a lot from people who present body positivity forward first. A lot of it comes down to just wanting to look and feel good in your body in public, which is, again, very valid. But she also took a moment to say, there was a hike that I went on and I felt confident that I could make it and be fine. And I went with two people who were much smaller than me. And, one did excellent, no issues breathing or sweating, they could do it and they felt fine. The other one struggled a little bit, but still they could forge ahead. I felt like I could do it, but my body wouldn't let me. And I felt like I had to fight my body. I felt trapped in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are areas in your life where at some point things just aren't okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean you don't love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't love the way you look, but you have struggles. And she had never felt comfortable enough to say that before until she had that experience. And I thought, well, that's one of the best things I've heard, because there is truth to that. You struggle. You love your body, but you do have struggles, and you should be able to acknowledge them and not feel guilty about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if she's not comfortable with her bald head, she should feel okay saying so.
Yeah, like it's okay to kind of say that you're not, because there's a lot of people that's not comfortable with it, and you're just relating to those people.
Yeah, truth
Sometimes
is
people,
relatable.
Yeah, sometimes people just need to hear that, hey, this person is insecure too. This person got issues too,
Yeah.
So, I mean, now a lot of people probably relatable to Will. He ain't perfect. I mean,
Not at all.
he's not perfect. He's human too. So
Yeah. That's another thing. This is a human event that took place. Is very, because you go to these, you go. I've never been to an award show, never been to the Oscars. It would be a dream. But when you're there, it is like the height of whatever celebrity is supposed to be. The most beautiful, the most fashionable, the most talented. It is epic. And then this kind of tore the veil where you're like, these are just people. And these are people with problems of all kinds. And sometimes, things go really left.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say Jada is human because that was a devil sitting next to her. So
I can't, I'm not.
And I'm not, I don't want to hear
entertain.
anyone saying I'm bashing a black woman. It's not about that. Look at Red Table Talk, just read his book before you come at me because I'm not saying anything that she hasn't said herself.
I haven't read this book. We should read it.
Yeah, like I've read, like he had an article in one of those magazines and like little excerpts of his book and stuff. I haven't read the book, but enough stuff has been at that Red Table. People telling her to get rid of the Red Table. I don't really want her to because I like it.
I like the Red Table.
I like Red Table Talk, but it's just be careful of what you reveal though, because if it's something you really don't want people talking about, it's Red Table Talk.
Yeah.
So if you don't want people talking about it, don't bring it to the table.
I mean, yeah, they can always restructure it so that it's about issues that don't have to do with their
not
personal
too personal
bedroom matters.
Yeah, if you feel like it's too personal, then don't bring it to the table.
Yeah, because they've talked about. I really appreciate it when they had. Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name, but she's from Sex and the City, and she has she's raising Black children.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, they had because What You Call was only 2. But I don't know.
Oh, Sandra Bullock was on.
No, and What You Call 2 from Grey's Anatomy. Don't she have black kids?
Yeah,
she had black kids too.
I saw her daughter's biracial.
Yeah.
Her husband's black.
Right. So she,
But the one from Sex and the City adopted Black children, just like Sandra Bullock did. And they talked about what is it like to be a white mom.
Yeah, and they gave their honest...
A Black son. She has a Black son.
Yeah, they gave their honest experience with it.
Yeah, and Gammy is the realist because she was like, I don't really like it when white people adopt Black kids.
And you know what? And I'm like, and that's what I'm saying. Like
okay,
the one thing that I loved the most that they brought to the table was their family structure and how they do the blended family thing. Because it's hard co-parenting. So to hear their co-parenting story was helpful and stuff. And like to hear Gammy say, she don't think that you always have to be so like having holidays together and doing all this stuff together. Like it's okay for this family to do that from, to keep things a little separate. But their co-parenting conversation, the blended family conversation was really helpful for me. It was really good. So I like Red Table Talk. It's just that if you're going to be sensitive about certain things, don't bring it to the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you bring those issues to the table, people are going to talk. Yeah. We're going to have our own discussions and thoughts about it.
Yeah. And be authentic about what you're saying.
But I don't think she is. Like, I never thought she was authentic, but the show made me think that she was. But then this moment, I'm like, you have some deep issues that you need to take, just like everybody else. We ain't perfect. We all got our moments, but don't act like you got it all together when you don't.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I got.
Yeah.
But the devil was sitting next to him the whole night, and he's gonna have a bad marriage for life with it.
He's married to the devil.
He's married to the devil.
That's bad.
What they call a woman devil?
She devil?
No, what they call it? What's Beelzebub?
We're gonna go read the Bible now, so we can figure
We need a lot of prayer. But I think so. So everyone, so we did a last episode for women's we wrapped up Women's History Month with a roundtable of women in politics. I have not posted it yet. I'm still kind of doing some editing, so that will be posted soon, even though we're out of Women's History Month. We always celebrate women though. But we have another episode coming up where in April, we will be focusing on the men in politics. So if you are a guy in politics and would like to be on, just reach out to me, let me know. But I kind of already have, certain people I've been reaching out to. So, and the ones that have agreed, I think you all will want to tune in. So you know your options of who you want to vote for. But I wanted to take a little break and talk about this because it's pop culture history, kind of like in
it is historical.
It's historical. And it's like I love media and news and journalism. There's no way I could not say anything about this because it's so many layers to it. And I get so irritated with people trying to be so smart and saying that it's a waste of time and we should be talking about this and that. Why can't we just talk about everything? Why is there a choice? Like, oh, you can't talk about, you got to talk about that. Like, do you not know how to multitask? We can talk about everything.
Also, freedom of choice.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to have fun. Like some people just want to take the fun out of everything. Seriously, it's irritating. Yeah. Like they so serious about life. It's depressing. Like life don't have to be that serious. Have a little fun. Tell a joke. Take a joke.
So terrible.
Tell a joke and take a joke.
That is the real lesson.
Yeah. Tell a joke and take a joke.
It's bad. Okay.
Okay, but that's it.
All right.
Thank y'all. You don't have to end it like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This was my sister Linda. She's gonna have her own podcast coming out soon. And when she reveals it, I'll let everyone know. And thank you all for being here. This was fun. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation, and I will see everyone in the district. Bye. See you.
This is how we do it. It's Friday night. Life feel alright. The party's here on the west side. So I reach for my 40 and I turn it up. Designated driver, take the keys to my truck. In the shop cause I'm faded. Money's in the streets, say money, yo, we made it. It feels so good.